Hey everybody, this is Emil Stanek, editor for Basically at Bon Appetit, and this is almost every way to cook an egg. First we did chicken, now we're doing egg. This is an egg. Ovular in shape, they come in a lot of different colors, but there's not a whole lot of difference on what's on the inside. Size, however, does matter as it affects the cook time. So for consistency, today we're just using large brown eggs. When you crack them, you can see that they're comprised of a runny white and the yellow-orange center, or yolk, which both contain different proteins that coagulate or harden at different temperatures. So just a few degrees of difference in cooking temperature or time are gonna have a profound impact on how the final egg turns out. We're gonna take these eggs and cook them in as many ways as we can possibly think of so you can see the process and the end results. Raw egg. Okay, we couldn't start this video on all of the ways to cook eggs without also doing a few ways to not cook eggs. You know, people eat raw eggs all the time, but we're just gonna take an egg, crack it into a glass, it's nice and cold, and that is an egg shot. This is literally just an egg cracked into a glass. There's nothing else going on. Cheers. It doesn't actually taste like that much because there's no salt or anything else in there, so it's just kind of a weird textural sensation. Prairie oyster egg. A raw egg is a raw egg, but a raw egg, once you put it into a cup and put a little bit of salt and some Tabasco and some Worcestershire on it, well, then you have what's called a prairie oyster. Apparently this is good for a hangover, though I have my doubts. Let's give it a shot. It definitely tastes more than a raw egg. The smell is really hard to get out of your nose once you've swallowed it, but we're not done yet. Amber moon egg. We've had a raw egg, we've had a prairie oyster. Now we're gonna make something called an amber moon, which is basically all of those things plus liquor. Now it's a cocktail. All right, there it is, an amber moon. Bottoms up, cowboy. It's spicy, it's salty. The only thing that's hard is actually the quantity of liquid, but I actually think that if I was hungover and I drank this, I would either vomit and go back to bed or move on with my day in a pretty cool way. Sunny side up egg. What we're looking for here is no color or crispiness on the white and then a yolk that's just runny and ready to burst. We're not gonna flip it, a little bit of salt, and there you have it, our sunny side up egg. This looks like an emoji egg. The white is kind of slippery in a really appealing way, and that yolk is ready to pop. It's barely gelled. This is what you want for your rice bowl or on top of something like a mushroom toast. It's delicious and very simple. Olive oil fried egg. This time, crispiness is the name of the game, so we need high heat. Throwing on my salt, and that, my friends, is an olive oil fried egg. You have this nice contrast between these really crispy, lacy edges, and then right here is just barely cooked. So you're getting a lot of flavor from the olive oil and a nice textural contrast between the super rich, oozy yolk and this almost pork rindy white. This is definitely one of our favorite ways to cook an egg. Olive oil fried and basted egg. We're gonna fry another egg, but this time we're gonna baste it, which means we're gonna spoon hot olive oil over the top of the egg while it cooks. Ooh, yeah, that hurt. Doesn't feel good, but we're not gonna be a baby about it. So the biggest difference here, where the last time we had a little bit of uncookedness right around the yolk, here it's completely cooked. That tastes great, and this is a great way to make a fried egg for somebody who's kind of likes that runny yolk but is squeamish about uncooked white. Olive oil fried and steamed egg. This time, instead of basting the egg with hot oil, we're gonna add a little bit of water and cover it, which is gonna produce steam that's gonna help to cook the egg. And we're gonna leave it in there for probably about a minute. So right off the bat, you're definitely seeing quite a bit of this crispy outside part, and it's pretty well browned underneath. You still have that nice runniness, but again, it's much thicker than some of the other yolk that we've been dealing with. It's good. Over easy, over medium, and over hard eggs. We're gonna cook them for about 2 to 3 minutes on this first side, and the only difference between these 3 eggs is once we flip them, they're gonna spend different amounts of time on that second side, which is gonna dramatically change the texture of the yolk. So here we have our 3 classic diner eggs. So over easy, you can see the white is still super tender, and in the yolk is just barely cooked. It's very fluid and runny. The over medium, the yolk is definitely a little bit more cooked. It's thicker and kind of oozing out a lot more slowly. And here with the over hard, you can see the yolk is completely cooked. It almost looks like an 8-minute boiled egg or something like that. And the white is definitely a little bit rubbery for that one. So something for everyone. Salt block fried egg. The idea here is that it retains a lot of heat and it'll maybe season the egg somewhat. It's also taking a really long time to cook. So there's your salt block fried egg. It's good, but it's definitely not the most efficient or effective way to cook an egg. McMuffin egg. We're gonna use a ring mold, which is gonna contain the egg so it doesn't just leak out everywhere. We want that yolk to be fully cooked because you're gonna eat it in the car. And there we have a perfect Egg McMuffin egg. The main benefit of this is definitely portability, and for anybody who's fully disgusted by runny yolk. Cracked and scrambled egg. We're just gonna crack these eggs directly into a pan that's set over medium to medium-low heat, and we're just gonna scramble them as we go. We don't want it to be too hot, otherwise our eggs are gonna get cooked too quickly. Always make sure to pull your scrambled eggs before you think they're done, to account for carryover cooking. There you have it, cracked in the pan and scrambled. So what you're gonna notice here are these kind of distinct bits, like that's mostly yolk, here you have mostly white. You definitely have some bits which are a lot richer and some that are a little bit leaner, but there's nothing wrong with this method for scrambling eggs. Low and slow scrambled egg. All right, scrambled eggs round 2. This time we're gonna beat them first, and we're gonna cook them really low and slow, which is my favorite way to make eggs. You're continuing to stir so you don't have any kind of big sheets of egg. We want the texture to almost be like ricotta or cottage cheese. And there you have some beautiful soft scrambled eggs. You notice that the texture is like curdy. The French would use the term bavous, which actually means dog snot. Delicious, right? There are a lot of people who would think that eggs like this are kind of undercooked. To me, this is perfect. Hot and fast scrambled egg. Scrambled eggs, round 3, but hot and fast this time. We're gonna beat the eggs together, make sure they're fully incorporated, and you're gonna have to start moving these eggs around as soon as they hit the pan. They're gonna cook in less than a minute. Unlike last time where you had that kind of curdy texture, this time we're going for little ribbons or sheets of egg. And these are our hot and fast scrambled eggs. These are not overcooked, they're not rubbery by any means, but you do definitely have a little bit more of the texture of the pan. It's not quite something that you would spoon up, you really wanna get your fork in there. Put that on some toast. Boiled eggs. So we're gonna set 4 separate timers, 5 minutes, 6.5 minutes, 8 minutes, and 10 minutes. The eggs are all gonna go at the same time into already boiling water. We're gonna pull the eggs out after these things go off, get them into ice baths, which helps separate the membrane from the actual egg itself. You can't eat a boiled egg without peeling it first. It's interesting to note that it's actually easier to peel an egg that is older rather than a super farm fresh egg. And voila, a boiled egg. Okay, so looking at all these boiled eggs, we're really able to see the way that time affects the white and the yolk. Let's start here with our 5-minute egg. You can see it has an almost runny white and a completely liquid yolk. Great for dipping toast into. This is our 6.5-minute egg. I feel like this has the most appealing sort of contrast between that really soft yolk and a fully cooked white. Next up, our 8-minute egg. There's no running whatsoever. The yolk is still very orange and isn't chalky at all. That's really nice. And last but not least, we have our 10-minute egg. Firm whites and a yellow yolk that has just a bit of that orange jamminess. This is like the kind of thing I just want to keep in the fridge to pull out whenever I'm super hungry. Steamed egg. So we've boiled eggs, but now we're gonna steam them. This is effectively the same thing. Cool thing about this is you don't have to wait for a whole pot of water to boil, and it doesn't matter how many eggs you put in there, they're all gonna have the same amount of steam circulating around them, which is really cool. And here we have our steamed egg. So what we have right here is a really nice looking 8-minute egg. The white is very tender. We've got this nice jammy looking yolk. Personally, this is one of my favorite methods for hard boiling eggs. Instant Pot egg. Welcome to hell, kids. This is an Instant Pot. It's a pressure cooker, it's a slow cooker, it does a lot of other things that you can probably do with other things you already have in your kitchen. We're gonna set this thing to 5 minutes, we're gonna get that egg in there, and when it's done, we're gonna vent it, which releases the pressure. And there you go. All right, so here we have our pressure-cooked egg. To me, that's an overcooked boiled egg. This actually took longer and did a worse job. So yeah, steaming, boiling, a much better option. Sous vide egg. Normally something is sealed inside a plastic pouch and then put into a water bath that's at a consistent temperature for a specific amount of time. In this case, no bag, the egg is its own bag. So we're just gonna let that immersion circulator move the water around at that very consistent temperature for around 45 minutes. And we're good to go. So this is our sous vide egg. The yolk's wiggly, the white's wiggly, everything's wiggly. That's delicious. The sensation in your mouth is almost like an egg jelly. But if runny eggs are not your thing, this is not for you. Pickled egg. So now we're gonna have some fun with our 8-minute boiled eggs by pickling them in a beet-infused vinegar mixture. So we've got some distilled white vinegar, a cup of water, some salt, sugar, and then we're gonna throw in some beets. And once that comes to a boil, we're gonna know our mixture is ready, put a lid on it, and boom. Now we're just gonna wait. And here we have our pickled eggs. These have been sitting in that pickling liquid for 24 hours. It's tasty. You definitely get some of the sweetness of the beet, definitely get the sugar. This would make a really nice addition to a picnic spread. Tea egg. We're gonna take cinnamon, star anise, peppercorns, cloves, fennel seed, sugar, salt, soy sauce, and of course, tea. We've got our soft-boiled eggs. We're gonna crack them all over with the back of the spoon. Then we're gonna submerge them in this liquid and let them cook for about 30 minutes. We're gonna add some ice, which is gonna cool things off. Then we're gonna cover them with the marinade to let them pick up even more color over the course of the next day. Look at that beautiful tea-stained egg. It's got this stained glass looking exterior. It's delicious. You really get those spices. This is a really fun way to eat an egg. Poached egg, the brunch time favorite. We don't actually want this water to be boiling. It's just at the barest simmer. And then we're gonna use our spoon to create a vortex, and then we're gonna plop the egg right in it, which is gonna help to kind of blast off any of the wispy parts. See, now it's starting to form kind of a nice little package. I'm actually pretty impressed with myself. This is hard to do. So here you can tell that the white is totally cooked, and when you poke it, you can tell that the yolk is still nice and fluid, almost like a yolk water balloon. This is the platonic ideal of the poached egg. This is awesome. Egg poached in tomato sauce. Basically, the idea is you have a hot tomato-based sauce, and then you're gonna create a little well in the middle of it, pop your egg right in there, and let the heat of the simmering sauce cook the eggs. In a dream world, the white is all cooked and the yolk is still a little bit runny. See, I'm kind of concerned here that the bottom part of the egg got the lion's share of the heat. The tomato sauce is kind of an imprecise cooking medium, so it's not conducting heat as consistently as a pan full of water is going to. But it does add a lot of flavor, which is exciting. I don't know, I could go either way on this one. Microwave scrambled eggs. We're gonna use this little egg holder to make scrambled eggs. Add a little bit of milk to help it out, and then put that in the microwave for 40 seconds. Breakfast. I gotta be real, this looks pretty gross. I don't know why you would do this. Don't. Microwave poached egg. Microwave round 2, revenge of the microwave. This time, we're gonna try to poach an egg in here. 27 seconds. That is an egg poached in the microwave? This is not good. This looks really, really gross. The microwave might save some time, but it also makes bad eggs. Pass. George Foreman egg. All right, this is a George Foreman grill. You know it, you love it. We're gonna open this up, non-stick spray, crack an egg on there, close it, and walk away. And that, my friends, is an egg cooked on a George Foreman grill. I mean, this is a depressing way to cook an egg, you know? It's fully cooked, the yolk is pretty gnarly looking. I mean, if you had to, you could cook an egg this way. I'm really sorry. Waffle iron egg. I mean, we've used every other appliance in the kitchen, so we may as well try a waffle iron. I'm just going to lube it up a little bit, crack an egg right in there, and close this. Wow, there's a lot of steam coming off of this guy. Oh my God, that is our waffle iron cooked egg. This looks like some kind of alien, like a face hugger or something. You can definitely see that the yolk is pretty unpleasant and overcooked. This is not a particularly delicious egg. Waffled egg, not so much. Blowtorched egg. This is an egg, this is a blowtorch. We're gonna crack this egg right onto a sheet pan, and then we're gonna cook it with our blowtorch. We've got a little diffuser on here to kind of help disperse the heat a little bit more evenly. And we're just gonna blast this thing with open flame until it's done, I guess? Oof, this, I think we can say this is not an effective way to cook an egg. Diner style omelet. All right, so we've got our pan on medium heat. We're gonna put a little butter in there to heat up until it's almost browning. We really wanna beat these eggs together until we don't see any streaks of egg white. We're gonna pour the eggs in, and as you can see, it's starting to cook immediately. So I'm just gonna kind of start nudging it along with my spatula, then fold it over, flip that out, and that is your diner style omelet. So a diner style omelet is normally kind of a blank canvas for all of the sorts of fillings that you might put into it. It's not normally about the eggs themselves. This would be delicious with some ham and peppers and cheese. French omelet. This time, we're using low heat, and this is gonna come together much more slowly. We're gonna beat our eggs, get a little bit of butter in the pan, we're gonna pour our eggs in, and then we're gonna start stirring constantly. We want the kind of curdy sort of texture. As soon as we start to form a little bit of skin, we're gonna start rolling, and then we're gonna flip it out, and voila. That is a French omelet. This is a much more refined, delicate style of omelet. This is all about the egg. You don't really need to add any toppings or fillings here. Very creamy, very tender. This is a beautiful way to cook an egg. Souffle omelet. This is a modern novelty omelet. So in this case, we're gonna separate the whites and the yolks. We're gonna beat the whites until they're fluffy, like you would for meringue. Then we're gonna fold the yolks back into the whites, transfer that to a hot pan with butter, put a plate over top to make sure the top cooks as well, and then we're gonna fold it, flip it out onto the plate, and that is a souffled omelet. This is huge. That's because of all of the air that we beat into the eggs before we cooked them. Has a light, cakey, fluffy sort of texture. Definitely not something I'd want to eat every day, but definitely interesting. Cloud egg. The cloud egg was kind of a novelty that was popular on Instagram for a little while. We're gonna separate the yolk from the white like we did for the souffled omelet. We're gonna dollop that on this baking sheet, and this is gonna go into the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Now we're gonna pull it out and we're gonna drop our yolk back into that little pocket that we made and bake it until we have the consistency of a sunny side up egg. And that, folks, is a cloud egg. This is kind of a deconstructed egg. It's a little bit high concept. This one is interesting tasting. It's really more for the gram than it is for the mouth. Chinese-style steamed egg custard. So here we have a couple of eggs. We're gonna mix those with some soy sauce to season it, some chicken stock. We're gonna transfer the eggs to a bowl. We're gonna put the whole bowl into the steamer basket, cover it with a plate, and then put the lid on the pot. And we're gonna let the steam kind of gently cook the entire thing until it's wobbly and custardy. Okay, so this is really cool. As you can see, it's pretty firm. It almost has the texture of a pie filling. Very silky. This is a win. This would be awesome if you drizzle a little bit of sesame oil on top, maybe some scallions. Absolutely delicious. Coddled egg. So what we have here is an egg coddler. It's kind of a mini pot that we're gonna put the egg in along with a little bit of cream, and then we're gonna close it up and then submerge that in barely simmering water. And there we have our flying saucer touchdown. That is a coddled egg. All right, so we're gonna take the lid off. Ooh, that smells really good. Basically, the cream helped to create a gentle cooking medium for the egg. The lid helped to trap some steam, so it cooked all the way around. What I really want is a couple of toast soldiers to dunk in there. It's very tasty. Shirred egg. So now we're gonna make a shirred egg, which is similar to a coddled egg, but this time it's gonna be open in a ramekin and in the oven. We're gonna pop that in a 375-degree oven for between 12 and 15 minutes. I can tell that we overcooked this one a little bit, but you still have a little bit of that oozing egg yolk. It's kind of cute. It might be more delicious if you added a little bit of cheese, made it like a little egg pot for brunch. Still has good flavor. This is a nice little self-contained dish. Air fried egg. All right, we couldn't not use an air fryer. An air fryer is basically a tiny convection oven. So we've got a ramekin all buttered up. We're gonna crack our egg into it, a little bit of salt, a little bit of cream, open our air fryer and put this guy right in there and close it. We're gonna set it to 300 degrees for like 12 minutes and see what comes out on the other side. So this actually has a similar-ish texture to the shirred egg, except it's definitely a lot more rubbery. It's actually fairly tasty. It took 12 minutes. You could easily fry an egg in that amount of time on the stovetop and not have to deal with this ridiculous contraption. Deep fried egg. I'm gonna crack an egg into this ladle and then try to get it in there from as far away as I can possibly get, because I'm worried this is gonna just explode all over me. Wow, it looks like a weird jellyfish. That, my friends, is a deep fried egg. This is definitely a dangerous way to make eggs, but honestly, that's surprisingly good. This might be America's best new egg. Dehydrated egg. First things first, we're gonna blend these eggs up really well. Then we're gonna pour them into this nice little rack with a lip, close the door, and turn the dehydrator on for about 6 hours. Oh God, it looks like fried cheese. I've heard that some people will dehydrate eggs and then take them camping, but unless you're like hiking the Appalachian Trail, I don't think this is a very good way to cook eggs. Frittata. So now we're gonna make a frittata, which is basically just a quiche without a crust. We're gonna crack some eggs, beat them together, add salt, 2 ounces of milk just to lighten it up. So we're gonna start on the stovetop, medium-high heat, just until the edges start to set, and then finish in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes until it's golden brown and the center is set. This is basically just baked egg. The egg is fairly tender. It really wants some cheese and other things in here. Otherwise, it's really not that much to write home about. Frozen egg? We've got an egg. We've got a skewer. We're gonna put this skewer into the egg and then freeze it to make like an egg popsicle, I guess? Okay, yeah, that is a frozen egg. I think we're gonna have to dunk it in some hot water to peel it. Oh no. It is an egg lollipop, and it is starting to thaw a little bit, which is very, very gross. Oh, do I really have to? Oh no, that is so unpleasant. Just don't. Dishwasher cooked egg. Dishwashers get hot, they fill up with steam, so maybe that's a way to cook eggs. We're gonna close it, set this dishwasher for the tough setting, and 3 hours later, Steamy Town. Okay, this is very, very strange. It looks kind of like the 6.5-minute egg that we did earlier, but the yolk cooked more than the white did. I don't understand the science behind that, but something weird happened in that dishwasher. But it definitely works and is kind of weirdly good. Maybe the next time you're gonna run your dishwasher, throw a couple of eggs in there and you've got lunch. Rice cooker egg. All right, let's say you made some rice in the rice cooker, but you want to turn that into something that's a little bit more like a complete meal. Maybe you just want to open it up and crack an egg right on top of that rice. Cook it right there. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. We're gonna check this after 5 minutes. All right, so this looks like a pretty perfectly cooked egg. The white is just barely set. The yolk just oozes out. Oh, that's so delicious. It's actually kind of been perfumed by the rice, and it has like a beautiful, almost nutty quality to it. This is a really cool and really delicious way to cook an egg. If you got a rice cooker, you've got everything you need to make it happen. Egg cooker cooked egg. This is an egg cooker. You load it up with eggs, you close the lid, you turn it on, and it steams some eggs for you, I guess. Here we have an egg that we cooked in the egg cooker. This looks pretty much exactly like any of our other cooked in shell eggs we made. The question is, do you really want a UFO hanging out on your counter that only has one purpose? It's not a bad way to cook an egg. There's just no reason to cook an egg this way. Rolly cooked egg. More things you can buy on Amazon. I don't know, apparently you put the eggs in here and they just come out when it's done. Did you hear that? It just made the weirdest noise. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. Oh my God. It looks like it's in a condom. This is the most disgusting egg thing we have made all day. I am sure of it. Oh God, it has a horrible flavor. It tastes like bad seafood. I don't know why, it tastes plasticky. This is horrible. Oven cooked eggs. All right, so people have a whole lot of different hack techniques for making all kinds of different eggs in the oven. We're gonna try 3 right now. So on your right, we're just gonna try to make a hard-boiled egg. These next 2, we're gonna butter them. And this middle one, we're gonna put a little bit of water in, crack the egg in there, and try to make a poached egg. On the left, we're gonna crack an egg right in here, add a little bit of salt, a little bit of cream, and then beat that up to try to make a scrambled egg. Then we're gonna take this whole muffin tin, slide it into a 350-degree oven for about 12 minutes. After 12 minutes, this looks more like a 6.5-minute egg. And this next one, I didn't really accomplish anything like a poached egg. And then here we have our scrambled egg, which is really just kind of like a mini frittata sort of guy, which looks kind of gross. I mean, these oven hacked methods are not really more convenient or more delicious. Egg cooked in broth. So we're gonna season this chicken broth that we have here, bring it up to a simmer, beat 2 eggs up really well, and then we're gonna gently just stream these into the hot broth so that it produces these kind of ribbons. And this is our egg cooked in broth. The strands are a little bit broken up, but you still have these very delicately cooked egg bits floating in a lot of delicious broth. The egg adds a nice texture and it lends it a nice richness, and the egg itself is really delicate and slippery. This is really fun. Ah, the great outdoors, except for the fact that it's 27 degrees, but we're not gonna let a little cold stop us. Grilled egg. All right, we're gonna grill an egg on a gas-powered grill. We're gonna turn the flames on high. We're gonna cook this for between 10 and 15 minutes. I mean, good enough for who it's for. Now, you know, it's actually not peeling as hard as I thought it was going to. It's definitely a little bit uneven, a little bit of salt. You know, it's not that bad. You could cook an egg this way, but you'd probably want to rotate it just so it cooks a little bit more evenly. Smoked egg. Okay, the idea here is that instead of cooking it over direct heat, we're gonna let the smoke and the indirect heat cook the egg over a longer period of time, around an hour. The coals are all off to one side and the smoke should circulate around, slowly cooking the egg. This egg, after an hour, is definitely a little bit overcooked. That's pretty good. You actually get a little bit of the smoked flavor. The texture is pretty bad. I would be worried that if we backed off on the time, we wouldn't get that smoked flavor. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there. All right, we got a campfire going right now. We're gonna knock that down to create a little shelf for our cast iron pan. We're gonna give it a drizzle of olive oil and crack our egg in there. I'm actually just a little bit worried that that top is never gonna cook just because of how cold the air is. So, you know, I'm just gonna call an audible and give this a flip real quick just to speed the cooking of the yolk along a little bit. Okay, you can see that that underside, where it was in direct contact with the pan, really took on a lot of color. But that's actually delicious, and the whole thing has a very smoky flavor and aroma. It's very appealing. If you're trying to cook an egg outside on the campfire, a cast iron is definitely a really good option. Foil pack egg. So we've got our little foil pack here. We're gonna spray it with some cooking spray. This feels very dangerous. We're gonna crack an egg right in this pouch, fold it up, and put it directly on the fire and see what happens. I mean, it's really puffed up in a pretty insane way. Let's just call this. Okay, so here we have our foil-packed egg. For whatever reason, it smells terrible. I don't know if the aluminum burned or there was some kind of chemical reaction or something like that, but this egg is evil. It is haunted. I am not eating it. Hot coal cooked egg? All right, just out of curiosity, I want to see what happens if I bury an egg directly in the coals. And after a few minutes, we'll just check on it. Oh, God, oh. Okay, that was a disaster. Here we have an exploded egg. This was not a good idea. I did this so you didn't have to. Just don't do this, unless it's a prank. Sauna cooked egg. We've got an egg and we've got this portable sauna, and I'm just gonna hop in here with my egg and hopefully it's just gonna cook along with me. And here we have our sauna cooked egg. If that was a real sauna and it was 180 degrees, then we probably, over the course of many, many hours, would have cooked an egg. So let's see how far we got. That's a raw egg. Sauna egg, fail. Engine cooked egg? I've been revving the engine of this for the last 30 minutes to heat things up. We're gonna situate this foil pack next to the engine block and close the hood. All right, let's see what we've got. Okay, this feels disconcertingly not warm. Here's our car engine egg. It seems as though it was starting to cook a little bit. It definitely looks weirder than it was. Yeah, I can't recommend this. Solar oven egg. The whole idea behind this device is it's somehow going to conduct the heat of the sun and trap it in this environment to create a space that will cook an egg like an oven. Okay, it's been 3 hours, there's no more sunlight, so we're gonna see what we got. Yeah, this also is not really a cooked egg. There's almost a little bit of white along the edge that started to cook. I think maybe if we left it out there for another 4 hours and maybe we were in Miami, then maybe something would have happened, but it is just not happening today. Solar fail. All right, a few takeaways. There are a lot of ways to cook eggs, and the smallest changes in time and temperature are gonna have a really profound effect on the texture of an egg, the way that it tastes. The other thing that we've seen is that there are a lot of classic, kind of foolproof ways for making a delicious egg, and I don't know that any of the novel methods that we used for cooking them were really any kind of an improvement. And that's it. That's almost every way to cook an egg. If you've got other ways that we didn't think of, feel free to leave them in the comments. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go get my cholesterol checked.